Have you ever felt like you're just running on a hamster wheel? You know, you put in all the hours, you work incredibly hard, but when you look at your bank account, it feels like you're barely moving. Well, let's get into this because you are definitely not alone, and there's a very real reason why that 9 to 5 grind doesn't automatically make you rich. Man, this quote just hits you, right? Because it feels so true for so many people. We're all taught the same thing. Get a good job, work hard, and you'll be set for life. But it seems like that formula is broken. The thing is, the problem isn't that you're lazy or not working hard enough. The problem is the game you're being told to play. And this slide right here lays it all out perfectly. Look, as a salaried employee, your income is totally linear. It's capped. There are only so many hours in a day, so there's a hard ceiling on what you can earn. A business owner, though, they play a different game. They're not just working, they're building a system. Their effort creates something that can grow on its own, whether they're physically there or not. It's a massive shift from trading your time for money to building something that scales. So if hard work isn't the magic bullet, what are the actual traps keeping you stuck? Let's break down the 5 biggest reasons you might feel like you're just spinning your wheels financially. Seriously, understanding these is the absolute first step to changing everything. All right, let's get into it. We're going to count down all 5, starting with the biggest, most fundamental trap of them all.
So reason number 1, and this is the big one we've kind of been circling around already, is that you're trading your time directly for money.
You see, this is what we call the time for money trap. Just think about it for a second. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can't magically create a 25th hour to work. That simple, unchangeable fact means that as long as your income is tied to the hours you punch on a clock, there is a hard, physical ceiling on how much you can ever make. And that leads us right into reason number 2. When all your time and energy is focused on earning a salary, you end up ignoring the single most powerful tool for building wealth, owning assets. So here's the game changer. Wealthy people don't just work for their money works for them. An asset is something that makes you money while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation. You get the idea. Without assets, you are the only engine generating your income, and that engine is eventually going to run out of gas. Okay, but let's say you do get a promotion or a nice raise. You worked hard for it, your paycheck is bigger, awesome. But for so many of us, this is right where another sneaky trap shows up. We call this lifestyle inflation, and it's a super simple but really dangerous cycle. As your income goes up, your spending goes up right along with it. That bigger paycheck just gets swallowed by a nicer car payment, a bigger apartment, more expensive meals out, and the result? You're earning more money, but you're not actually getting any wealthier. You're just living a more expensive version of being broke. Now, this next reason, it's not really your fault, but it does become your responsibility to fix. We're talking about a huge gap in what we're all taught. I mean, really think about it. We spend years in school learning about complex math and world history, but how many of us ever took a single class on how to build wealth, or how compound interest actually works, or even the basic difference between an asset and a liability? This massive education gap just leaves millions of smart, hardworking people trying to figure out a really complex financial world all by themselves. And that brings us to the 5th and final reason. And this one is all on our heads. It's the psychological barrier that stops so many people before they even start. Look, the idea of investing can be terrifying, right? You hear that little voice in your head going, what if the market crashes? What if I lose everything? That fear is powerful. It pushes people to stick with the so-called safety of a savings account, where, by the way, your money is actually losing value every single day because of inflation. The truth is, building real wealth requires taking some smart, calculated risks. Okay, so we've laid out all the traps that are keeping people stuck. But here's the good news. Escaping them isn't about working yourself to the bone. It's about learning to think in a completely different way. It all starts with one simple but incredibly profound mindset shift. This right here, this might be the most important concept in all of finance. It was made famous by Robert Kiyosaki, and it is beautifully simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. The wealthy spend their lives acquiring assets. The rest of us, we spend our money acquiring liabilities that we think are assets, like a brand new car or the latest smartphone. Once you really internalize that one simple distinction between assets and liabilities, it's like a key that unlocks everything else. When you start seeing the world through that lens, the path forward becomes so much clearer. So let's talk about the actual actionable steps you can start taking today. Okay, here's a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, start buying assets. I don't care if it's just $50 in an index fund. The most important thing is to start the habit of making your money work for you. Step 2, build some side income that isn't connected to your time. Think about freelancing, starting an online shop, creating a digital product, anything that breaks that time for money link. And third, learn high-income skills. The more value you can provide to the world, the more you can earn, and the faster you can buy more assets. See how it all connects?
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The goal isn't to stop working hard. Of course not. It's about aiming that hard work at the right targets, at systems that can grow, at assets that make you money, and at a future where your wealth isn't chained to a time clock. You're already putting in the effort. The only question is, where are you pointing it?